Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I am back again for another entry in my Letterboxd Criterion Challenge for 2024. And today's prompt is number 5, which was to watch the most recently added film to your watch list. You know, when you made the list. And that film is one from 1949. It is a Western, a real epic of a sorts, brought to us from the legendary Howard Hawks. And it is called Red River. And this is a Western that stars the Duke himself, John Wayne, and was the screen debut of one of the real hot stars of the method acting style from the early 50s, Montgomery Clift. He's probably not quite as known as, say, Marlon Brando or James Dean, but definitely deserves his flowers. And wow, and I gotta say, this is a movie that I probably don't need to do hard analysis for, or because a lot of what's great about it is really just on the screen. I mean, this is a big, a large, a grand film that is just full. Again, it's full. It's like what you see is what you get. It's so big, it's so broad, but also it feels so. It's so meaty and so damn good. It's a damn great Western, and it's actually about it's actually a fictionalized account of a story about the Chisholm Trail from the Saturday Evening Post back in 46. It was actually co-written by that writer of that story, Borden Chase. And the Chisholm Trail, it was a trail used post-Civil War era, doing for cattle drives, and that's what this movie's about. It is about a cattle rancher and his adopted son, doing this big cattle drive. I've with 1,000 something like 1,000 cows or so. Oh, and they're doing it across hundreds of miles, and it's massive, it's grand, it's set across the beauty of the American landscape. And man, yeah, again, this is you really should just see this movie just because it's really worth seeing, and it's a movie you really feel in your chest. So to give more detail about what's going on, you have John Wayne as Thomas Dunson, and he has his best friend Nadine Groot. Yes, he is Groot, and Groot is played by the great Walter Brennan, and who's the only way to describe it, he's definitely more the good angel on Wayne's shoulder, but also he is played more for comic relief. He's not quite to the over the top level of God darn it, get Zooks, look at that jabber push, I'm a minor prospector, comb my legs off, comb it shorty. He's not that over the top, but he is he's kind of that same wavelength. He is played for laughs a lot. And it starts with these two. It's actually told like this storybook, they have these have this book open up, and every once in a while page will turn and we'll read what's happening, and it starts with Dunson and Groot, and they break away from a wagon trail, and they're sort of warned, hey, you're a good shoot, Dunson. We need him, and we need a gunman like you. You can't go. You better be safe. You better be careful out there. That's Indian territory. But they leave off anyway. They want to go off to set up for themselves, make a name for themselves. And Dunson leaves off, and he even leaves his best girl because he doesn't believe a woman should be out there alone with them. But he leaves. But as a parting gift, he leaves his best girl a bracelet, his late mother's bracelet. But then that night, when Dunson and Groot, they're attacked by Comanches, he finds that bracelet is on one of their wrists, and so you just know it was attacked. But then eventually the two make it to the border of Texas, where they find this big plot of land, and they just they call dibs. And also there they happen upon a wandering teenage boy. This is Matt Garth, and he's he looks a little shell shocked. He's apparently the sole survivor of a wagon train attack, and they just kind of adopt him in, and therein is the prologue. Take the boy under his wing, and 14, 15 years pass, and Dunson has made himself a very impressive cattle ranch, and he's done a lot of hard work, but it's post-Civil War, and he's broke, and so now he and his adopted son, who's now grown up into Montgomery Clift, has to do a big risk, take a big risk on this wide lawn trail for this big cattle drive, just to kind of make the money and do this big risky job. You got to be crazy to do, and well, Dunson is kind of crazy. And so this movie doesn't just become this grand journey across the American landscape, but also it's not just old Hollywood stardom and John Wayne sort of meeting the more young, fresh-faced method acting style in Montgomery Clift, but it also becomes this sort of clash of differing codes of masculinity, because Dunson, he's tough, he's too tough, and he's not just tough, he's stubborn. It's either his way or no way. And Clift, he kind of looks down on Clift because he thinks he's soft, and Clift is more and Matt is by comparison much more cooperative. If he's more able to work with people, and so it's rugged, it's rugged individualism butting heads with a more collectivist idea, because it's not just one man that drives this cattle. And man, what a group of men! You have there's great camaraderie with not just between the two of them and Groot, but also Clift kind of has this rival of sorts with a sharpshooter, he's by the name of Cherry Valance, and when they meet, they kind of meet. Valance is he asks Matt about his gun. It's a real "I'll show you mine if I show you yours. I'll show you mine if you show me yours." It's worse than they lovingly touch each other's guns. And they show off by shooting their guns. By shooting up a can with their guns. It's super homoerotic. They should have just kissed. But you also have other fun dudes. It's a real dudes rock kind of movie. You have men on a job, and they're just they are kind of broing out a little. You have one guy who Groot keeps pestering about because he keeps stealing from their sugar like a kid. And you also have a native character named Quo, who Groot kind of has this fun running gag who he bet his own teeth in a card game against Quo, and he lost him, so he has to keep badgering Quo for his teeth every time they have to take a meal, and I gotta say, for 1948, Native American representation wasn't great. It's again, the bar is nearing and in hell. But I feel like Quo is again, when I'm grading on the curve that steep, it's but I have to give it credit that he is at least he's a presence. He's a character that I care about. Again, they're all a lot of these side characters. They're kind of broad in that very classic Western kind of way. But I care for him. I got a heart for all of them. And they set off. They ready up on their horses and their 10-gallon hats. Dunson gives them gives the mark, taking to Missouri, man, and you get the Yeehaw chorus, and you set off an adventure. And man, what an adventure! This is and it's an adventure you really feel. It's like 2 hours and 15-ish minutes, give or take, and you not just feel the length, you really feel the weight and the time and the hard work and the risk of this journey, because so much could go wrong, a lot does go wrong, and and you have and there's great butting heads between Garth and Dunson. When one of the guys one of the men screw up and causes an accident to happen. Dunson is he pulls out a whip and gets ready to really go to town on him with a whip, but Garth, who's a real quick draw, gets him and shoots him in the shoulder as punishment. He's been you just shot it, just me mugsed up to Wayne is you just shot him between the eyes, just as sure as you're standing before me. And man, Dunson's a real son of a bitch sometimes. And honestly, this is a really good turn from John Wayne. And I give a lot of I also give Wayne a lot of grief. Because not just because of his shoddy acting, his spotty acting track record, or his or the pain in the ass that is his cultural legacy, his political legacy. And Wayne was a bastard. He sucked. And you gotta wake up early in the morning to suck as much as John Wayne did. But even with that said, I think he did have a very memorable screen presence. And often when the situation calls for it, he could give a good performance. I think Wayne was kind of one of those actors that really was about as good as the material. Not really was good when the material called for it, when it played into his strengths, and often it depended on the director. Sometimes Ford could get really good performances out of him. I think he's really good in The Shootist and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Excuse me. He's good. He's good oftentimes. And he's really good here. I think they played to his strengths, and I think it would have been pretty surprising in 1948 for audience to see John Wayne kind of be portrayed as a villain. We see, even done so far as he begins the movie symbolically wearing a white cowboy hat, but then towards the end he's donned a dark one, really symbolizing how his jealousy and his pride and his animosity towards Clift is really taking over. And also for a debut, Montgomery Clift is really impressive here. And also because especially towards the middle when they really come to a head and Matt sort of takes charge of the drive and leave Dunson behind. And so for much of the back end of the movie, you have this sort of looming fear that these two men, this looming anticipation that these two men will that Dunson will catch up and the two men will come into conflict, and it could be deadly. Like Dunson's just staring daggers on him, I'm gonna kill you. But Matt really takes on, and he really takes his own, I think, with the drive, and he works well with the other men, even when they are scared and worried, even when it gets hard and it's raining all the time. And they even help out another group. And of course, he meets a lady, and he falls for a woman, and she's great too. She's a real no nonsense birdie by the name of Tess Millay, who's played wonderfully by Joanne Drew, and she's great. She's got real grit, real heart. She even meets up with Dunson later, and they have a really interesting confrontation there, where they're just kind of sitting at a table. She's being real hospitable, but she has heard what Matt has been telling him about Dunson, and it's interesting, and it's interesting how Dunson is better to understand Matt by proxy of her, and you do sort of see them better understanding each other, the way that not just the way Dunson understands it through Millay, but also the way you see Matt Garth is able to understand Dunson and why he is the way he is better as he's taking lead of this lead of this drive, and then, when by the time they get they get to that ending, and then this ending happens, and it's kind of anticlimactic. For a surprise, it almost feels like a studio forced happy ending, almost to be granted, I really like it for the thematic touch, but much. You fear this confrontation, but you're hoping for a reconciliation. They reconcile. Looking past their pride and the generational animosity, and resist the calls of manifest destiny and capitalist hungers that are keeping these two dudes from rocking out. They love each other, and when both of them fail and both of them start to fall away from that love and fall away from from how they're supposed to be. It's up to a woman to set them both straight. And it's a little, and again, as sort of sudden as the ending is, and as sort of, again, anticlimactic it is, it doesn't ruin the movie for me. Because, man, a lot of it is just the journey more than the destination. Because, and man, what a journey. This was absolutely breathtaking. Again, the cinematography is beautiful. There's real grand moments, really impressively made moments too. Like there's a moment where they're crossing a river and the camera is set up. We get a POV shot from inside the wagon, like from behind the wagon driver. And for 1948, I was really impressed by that. And man, Howard Hawks, that guy knows how to make a picture, man. And this is a great film. It's so masterful. I really can't wait to see Rio Bravo, which is another movie he made with a Western he made with John Wayne. I want to say 59, something like that. And because when a Western, I don't know if this is one of the greatest Westerns ever made, but this definitely deserves to be in the Pantheon. It's magnificent. It's just everything that you can love about this movie is just right up front. It's no nonsense. It's marvelously acted. It's wonderfully shot. It's grand. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story, a beautiful journey, and I can't recommend this enough. I really got to get this physically for Criterion. It's got I see it's got a nice box set. It's real. It's man, I got to get my hands on this thing. It's so good. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough. Just what a picture. What a picture. And yeah, I guess that'll be it for me. I'll have more movies to talk about. I got a real big great one planned that's upcoming. Hopefully later this week. I really wish I'd been seeing more new movies. Things have been still kind of tight. It's annoying, but at least it gives me the opportunity to sit back at home and watch great classics like this. And yeah, can't recommend Red River enough. Howard Hawks, the God, and great movie. I hope you check it out. And I'm Zach. I love movies. Comment, like, subscribe. I got a lot of more movies to watch, and I hope you watch movies too, because movies are life. And I hope to see you all later. And you all take care of yourselves.